Bismillah, alhamdulillah, assalatu wassalam ala rasulullah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I wanted to share some information about shirk and its forms. This information has been compiled from the Quran, a hadith, and also from Prince Muhammad Qasim, specifically about how he's been told about shirk and its forms, especially modern forms. So today I want to share some information about its modern forms and more in detail examples. And this is just information that's continuing from what we spoke about before, which is what is shirk and why it's important for us to consider. And just to reiterate what we spoke about, which is shirk is associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, associating anything with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, anyone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and his names, his attributes, and his essence. So, starting with a ayah from the Quran in Surah Al-Hashr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that هو الخالق البارئ المصور, and Al-Musawwir is one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-Musawwir means that he is it means the fashioner, the creator of images. And so in a hadith, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had said that some of the worst of creation on the Day of Judgment are the Musawwirin. So these people are trying to take on a name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is not correct. And so we spoke about the importance of shirk, which is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive shirk on the Day of Judgment. And he'll forgive other things for whoever he wants, but the only thing he will not forgive is shirk. So we should avoid shirk in all of its forms. So in today's day and age, it's become very, very difficult to recognize and avoid all these forms of shirk. And it's sad. I mean, it's everywhere. If you go to the stores, if you go to the pretty much every kind of building, you can find pictures hidden or kind of maybe it's hard to recognize them, but they're there in the buildings. And so even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came to Muhammad Qasim in a dream and told him that this world has never been filled with shirk as much as it is today. So just to go into some examples, in our homes, to start, we have in our food packets, on our drinks, in our fridge, there's the milk carton, there's the yogurt, maybe, there's the bag of chips, or there's some kind of different food packets that have pictures on them. In our bathrooms, we have creams, we have shampoo, and these things also have pictures of animals, or maybe some kind of human, or picture creatures basically of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so same thing with the food. And there's also other cases in our houses, in our bedrooms, right? We have pictures on our walls or on our beds, on our curtains. In our beds we have the sheets, and on our walls, curtains, we have maybe pictures of some kind of bird or something, and on our carpets as well. In other cases, even our towels. So these pictures of animals and creatures are these are images, and these should not be there. There's other cases as well. There's even the beauty products that pretty much any consumer good you'll find maybe a picture of an animal or creature in the front, and then if you go flip on the back, you'll even see like smaller pictures as well. So a picture, whether it be small or big, that's irrelevant, but the fact that they're images and people are creating them is what is relevant. And so we should not carry these things on us or in our houses. Just to go into more examples, if you go to the streets outside, you see, when they create advertising, they have these large billboards which are made very, very big in pretty much every city for everyone to see, which have pictures of a lot of times just some person or an animal or something, which are not necessary. And this is just what they're doing for advertising, maybe on posters, in other cases, murals as well. So we say shirk in all these places. There's other cases as well, with their statues. This is a very clear one where they're pretty much everywhere. In the parks and maybe the shopping malls. Shopping malls, there's these mannequins as well. So these are all present. In other cases, we have movies as well now, which are being created, like, especially with AI now, it's going to be created probably even more. Movies, a lot of times you present these common people, but they've attributed a lot of these attributes were only meant for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like the god of this or the god of that. Pretty much fake gods with fake powers, and they're doing evil deeds, or in some cases they're actually beautifying their black magic powers or something like that. They're trying to make them to be a very, very powerful person, and this is a form of shirk. And there's other examples where in movies they start the movie with like a picture of some kind of powerful statue. They make it seem like a very powerful statue, or like a false god or an idol or something like that, and they show some idol worshiping even in the movie as well. So you have to consider that movies are actually worlds, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the owner of this world, because He's Rabbul Alameen, which means the owner of all the worlds. And so you can't, even in the movie as well, you can't associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if it's just a movie. So these are some examples of how shirk has entered pretty much all of our day-to-day life. And there's other cases as well where we even speak, or maybe we write some words which are forms of shirk. Like, for example, we say that so and so is our only hope, but we shouldn't say this because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is where hope is derived from. So what we can do is we just, like I said, we don't say these kind of words. And when it comes to actually seeing these images in public, when we go to the parks and we go to the shopping malls or we go to other places, we don't look at these images. We roll our eyes and we say Subhanallah, which means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pure from what we're seeing and that He has no partner. In the cases of like, same thing for advertising, you see those billboards, those murals, and those statues, maybe potentially they're advertising on that. We just, when we see it, we say Subhanallah. We don't look at it. Same with the movies. If we see a movie, they're showing some idol worshiping or some false god. They're trying to make it seem like this person has an attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we just don't watch it. We turn it off because we respect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we don't want to be associated with these people committing these kind of acts. And so if there are any pictures in your house as well, we should in general try to remove them, especially what's not necessary. We don't keep them around. For example, if you have images on your walls or in your room somewhere, then you should basically remove them or hide them. And if you have them, if you have toys for your children, for example, and they play with them, then you should move the toys into like a hidden place once they finish playing with them. And so there's other cases where some people had, small pictures, very small pictures in their houses or statues, keep, like I said, throw them away or hide them. And same thing with the consumer goods as well. Take off if you're going to have it for a few weeks, especially, take off the image of it on the product actually, and mark it, put like some marker on it, or like a Sharpie or tape, or just cut it out with some scissors if you can. A lot of cases you can, some cases you can't, so you need to have some kind of tape or some kind of marker. So even if you have some kind of bubble gum in your pocket with the image on it, you shouldn't keep it in your pocket because you're carrying that around with you and it's unnecessary to have image. So remove the image from it, or just don't keep the gum in your pocket in that case. So there's other cases where the things I said don't really apply. I mean, there's images where we have to carry in our pockets like ID cards or cash. These are permissible. I mean, it's fine because they're necessary things. We have to go out and do things like earn a living, and we have to go drive or do these kind of things. And so these are necessary. And so same with like pills. For example, a bottle of pills or some kind of medicine pack that has a diagram of how to actually use it. It's fine to keep these in your pocket, but in general, when you have some kind of image in your pocket or in your house that's not necessary, you should remove it, especially if you're going to keep it for like a long time. So other cases where you go to friends' houses, it's not your responsibility, so you shouldn't force people to remove these images. But if they're interested to learn about Shirk forms, especially, and they become they want to actually start removing these images of themselves, that's fine. You can assist them with that, but don't force them. And so even if you're walking to their house and you have to pass by some statues, they call them gnomes, or those little rabbits, or maybe they call Cupid or whatever, those little statues in the gardens or something. You shouldn't keep them in your own place, but if you're passing by their place, don't start destroying it, but you can inform them. And if they want to remove themselves, that's fine, but don't force them to do that. And there's other cases as well where we have images on our phones, for example, pictures like family photos or our kids or something like that. We should not keep them on profile photos or on the wallpapers because we are pretty frequently, seeing these things, and we should not have them there because we don't want them just out in public, always being seen. But we can keep them hidden in folders, like in our Photos app or something, and somewhere that's not going to be frequently seen and easily seen by other people. So a good rule of thumb is to always, when you see images, to just not look at it and then just say Subhanallah instead. And one thing I'll say is that consider the world that we're in now. There's a lot of darkness and misguidance in the world, and so you won't find a head of a Muslim country saying avoid all forms of shirk, and they create awareness about it, and they're active. And in fact, you'll find in a lot of these places they promote the images of themselves, or maybe in their palaces, in their presidential buildings or offices, these photos of them or the former presidents or something. And so we don't want to be part of the people who we don't want to be, creeds images. We want to spread awareness, and so it's important that we as a Muslim Ummah, if we want to get out of the current darkness that we're in and gain the lost status that we had before, is to first remove all forms of shirk, and Allah, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will support us. Um, and so I'll leave with this dua that Prophet Sallallahu had told Abu Bakr uh, in order to avoid all forms of shirk, and whether it be big or small. And it starts with, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika an ushrika bika wa ana a'lamu wa astaghfiruka la lima la a'lamu. So that's pretty much it. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.